welcome to the Intel Brief. Today is Friday, 14 March. I'm your host Daniel, and today we'll be covering Trump has told the NATO chief that the US needs Greenland, China, Russia and Iran have held nuclear talks, and Armenia and Azerbaijan have concluded peace talks. So firstly, during a meeting with the NATO Secretary General, US President Donald Trump emphasized the strategic importance of Greenland for international security. Trump suggests that US control of the Arctic island would be beneficial due to its location and growing presence of Russian and Chinese militaries in the region. He acknowledged that Rutte could play a role in helping the US pursue this goal, stating that securing Greenland was crucial for global security. However, Rutte distanced himself from the idea, making it clear that NATO would not get involved in discussions about the island's annexation. Trump's remarks were met with strong opposition from Greenland's leaders, with the outgoing Prime Minister rejecting the idea and calling for a meeting of party leaders to firmly oppose any US takeover. The leader of the pro-business Democratic Party also condemned Trump's comments, stressing the importance of Greenlanders standing united against such a proposal. Although Greenland is a self-ruled territory of the Kingdom of Denmark, it relies on Denmark for foreign affairs and defence. Most of its population support the idea of independence from Denmark, but not the annexation by the United States. So what? I wonder if Trump will ever give up this idea. Greenland has made it clear that they do not want to be part of the United States, both before and after their recent election. It is possible that Trump could pressure Denmark and the EU to let the country vote for independence, and if they did choose independence, then the US could provide them a level of support in exchange for military access and mining rights. However, if they do vote for independence, it is highly unlikely they would be given access to the EU, as countries such as Spain have made it clear they would block similar moves for Scotland if they were to leave the UK. This would make Greenland's departure from Denmark quite unfavourable, as they would lose access to the EU, something they're currently accustomed to. And next, the diplomats from China, Russia and Iran have met in Beijing on Friday to discuss Tehran's nuclear program, aiming to revive long-stalled negotiations. The talks involved Chinese Vice Foreign Minister, Russia's Deputy Foreign Minister, and Iran's Deputy Foreign Minister. China emphasized the importance of the political and diplomatic dialogue based on mutual respect, urging all parties to address the root cause for tension by ending sanctions, pressure, and threats of force. The three countries also called for the removal of unlawful unilateral sanctions against Iran. Iran has reiterated that its nuclear program remains peaceful, while their Deputy Foreign Minister described the meeting as constructive and positive. The meeting came shortly after Iran rejected the US demands to resume nuclear talks, following a proposal from Donald Trump offering two paths for Iran: military action or a negotiated deal. The Iranian president responded firmly, stating that Iran would not negotiate in such dialogue while facing threats or what he described as US orders. This diplomatic push from China, Russia and Iran reflects their shared interest in countering US influence, while also seeking to re-establish discussions on Iran's nuclear future without the pressure of sanctions or military intimidation. So what? Due to the conflict in Ukraine, Russia is almost certain to be an inseparable ally to Iran, and has possibly been helping to develop its nuclear weapons program throughout the last few years. The US might need to accept that they no longer have such a strong bargaining position when it comes to Iran, as they have made it clear they can withstand sanctions and are now making pretty good money selling their drones to Russia. Although, if there is no other way to slow down or stop Iran's nuclear weapons program, it is likely Israel will conduct some kind of military strike against the program, possibly leading to further regional conflict. And lastly, the European Union has congratulated Armenia and Azerbaijan for finalizing a peace deal aimed at resolving their long-standing conflict, encouraging both nations to sign the treaties soon. The agreement comes after both sides concluded negotiations and settled on the text of the treaty. European Council Chief Antonio Costa and French President Emmanuel Macron hailed this as a crucial step towards normalizing relations and opening the region. Armenia's foreign ministry announced its readiness to sign the deal, having accepted Azerbaijan's proposal on two previously unresolved points. While Baku confirmed the negotiations were over, it stressed that Armenia must amend its constitution to renounce territorial claims against Azerbaijan. The conflict between Armenia and Azerbaijan has centered on the Nagorno-Karabakh region, which, while legally a part of Azerbaijan, operated as a breakaway territory with Armenia backing it for decades. The two countries fought wars over the region in the early 1990s and again in 2020, with Azerbaijan reclaiming the territory in a brief offensive in September 2023. This led to the exodus of over 100,000 Armenians, with Yerevan accusing Baku of ethnic cleansing. Despite years of failed negotiations, both nations now assert that a lasting peace deal is within reach, pending Armenia's constitutional changes and final agreement on the treaty's signing. So what? Azerbaijan likely held a strong advantage over Armenia during these negotiations, largely due to Armenia's diminished support from Russia. Until 2020, Russia had provided security guarantees to Armenia, including the deployment of Russian troops in their country. However, when the Nagorno-Karabakh war erupted, Russia was hesitant to intervene, influenced by growing tensions between Putin and the then President Pashinyan. This reluctance likely contributed to Armenia's loss of the region across the two conflicts in 2020 and then in 2023. Now, Armenia formally relinquishing any claims to the disputed territories, Azerbaijan's position has only solidified. Thank you for tuning in to the Intel Brief, your daily update on global geopolitics, brought to you by HM Intelligence. You can support the show by sharing it with your friends and leaving us a 5-star review. And if you're curious to learn more about intelligence, check out one of our courses in the description below. Thank you for listening. I've been your host, Daniel, and I'll see you next time.